All right. And last but not least, Mr. Alliteration Addy, the double A gamer, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Addy. Again, it is finally your time to shine, man. Are you ready?
My man, of course.
All right. Go ahead and tell us about yourself. Introduce yourselves. Let us know who you are, man.
Absolutely. I'm a 27-year-old human being from the planet Earth who's loved playing video games for almost as long as I've been a human being. But
Nice.
yeah, that's the short of it. But yeah, no, once again, it's lovely to be here. Thank you again so much for inviting me to the podcast. And before I go on, I got to say that the whole alliteration Addy thing, I got to give Malik another shout out for that because that's his nickname that he came up with. And I'm going to be real, that's inspired me to do the same thing with everybody else now. Like, literally, as soon as you coined alliteration Addy, because my whole thing with Addy again is I'm just weirdly obsessed with alliterating things. Like, my previous username was Irritable Indian, now it's Addy again. Ever since I rebranded back in November. Malik was like, yeah, that's alliteration Addy right there, because that's what you love doing. And I'm like, dude, this is incredible. So everyone has been coming through my chat ever since then. I've been just coming up with nicknames. Recently, we had someone in the community, King Toady, and I'm like, McToady, because we were talking about McGriddles and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's Malik isn't here right now, but oh man, shout out to Malik for that in spirit. But no, I have been streaming for the past 7 years. I've been around streaming on Twitch, mostly video games, just classic playthroughs, trying to build a community around the stuff that I love, meeting people who are into the same things that I am. That's my favorite thing in the world. And before that, I was studying game design for 4 years in college. And then before that, I was in school. And before that, I was not in school. And before that, I was basically born. So that's my story going backwards. But yeah, always lovely to meet new folks like I am today. And it was lovely hearing Lewin and Raynor's story. That was incredible. I just love seeing people who are as passionate about the things that they are into as much as I am, and learning about those new things, just to hearing them talking about it, right? Like dancing, wrestling, these are things that I've just never really known a whole lot about before in my life. And like Malik was saying, you know, you guys need to write, you don't even need to write autobiographies. Those were autobiographies right there. I mean, you guys did a wonderful job introducing yourselves, and it was all so interesting. So yeah, I'm all about this stuff, just bonding over stuff that, you know, we're all passionate about, that we want to grow communities around. Like in my Twitch bio, it basically says I just want to, you know, build maximum hype for things, and, you know, the greatest community the world has ever seen. So and I feel like through stuff like this, you know, we're working towards that, and, you know, that's just lovely. So yeah, it's a little bit about me.
Hell yeah. Love to freaking hear it, man. Appreciate you for introducing yourself. We're going to go ahead and go into your 2 questions. So, why did you choose game design as your major, and what did you learn?
So yeah, I studied game design between 2018 and 2022. Actually, it started in 2017, but it was a slightly different program, and I didn't fare too well with it, so I transferred over to another one, and then went from 2018 to 2022. So the reason I decided to go for that, I've, like I said, loved gaming for as long as I can remember. I attribute that to my older brother, by almost 10 years. He's 8 to 9 years older than I am. So I got to grow up just watching him playing video games, like all this classic 90s stuff from the early 2000s, and then so on and so forth. And I developed my own passion for video games as a result of that. And growing up, man, ever since I was like that kid in school who I did not have a lot of friends. I did have some, but I kind of lived in the middle of nowhere with my family. So when I would go home, I would want to have other people coming over to my house to play, hang out like most other kids, but their parents were concerned about sending them there because, you know, they just had no idea where we lived. And like when we would tell them the address, they'd be like, is that even on planet Earth? So I didn't have a lot of like that experience of going out and socializing with others, because and I didn't really get to do that online either with gaming. So I didn't have that Gen Z kid growing up experience with Call of Duty and whatnot, playing in those online multiplayer lobbies. Which maybe that's a good thing considering what those were like. But I would grow up playing a lot of offline single player stuff and just immersing myself in these wonderful game worlds and stuff. I told Malik about this a couple weeks ago on his stream, but one of my earliest gaming memories was with Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls game, and that game just showed me, yeah, what worlds are capable of being. And I cannot, like, I remember one of my earliest gaming memories was in 2006 with my older brother when we first got that game and an Xbox. And I remember in that game, you're trying to escape the jail at the start. And I'm like, oh, so when you escape the jail, that's the end of the game, right? But no, when he left the jail, there was this big, sprawling, lush, grassland. And then he opened the map and I was like, wait, so holy shit, this is possible? Like that was my introduction to 3D open world games. So ever since then, I was like, this is my favorite medium. This is beautiful. I want to get lost in this, immersed in this. So I would always play. I would just come home after school all the time and just play video games and lie to my mom that I finished my homework and actually do that like in bed with the lights are off with a little like flashlight. It's like going to bed. That's when I would actually doing my homework and stuff. And then, yeah, but the thought of making games never actually crossed my mind until much, much later. Like, literally when I was about to graduate high school, like the last or second to last year of high school. I never really considered it as a serious option because it didn't occur to me. It somehow always went under my radar just how easy it is to make games, or how easy it had gotten and how increasingly easy it was getting. I didn't know about things like, oh, you can just install a game maker, or Unity is available to everybody, and the sky's really the limit for a lot of things. So I started tinkering around with that stuff towards the end of high school, and I was like, you know what, I want to kind of like completely shift my focus because I really didn't know what I wanted. There was somebody who visited us, like a family friend, and he was staying with us, and he talked about how he was going to do pharmacology, medicine, that kind of stuff. And I was like, that sounds interesting, so you know what, I'm going to do that too. For some reason I got that in my head when I was in middle school, and so I started working towards that. I did biology, chemistry, all that, and those were interesting. But yeah, if you're going to be the one person in a classroom, I'll put it this way, who doesn't want to dissect a frog in biology, that line of work probably isn't for you. Like, you probably don't want to do anything in the sciences, so like it felt so weird when I was like in grade 11, I think it was, or no, grade 9. We had to, inevitably in every biology class we dissect a frog, right? So that's what we had to do, and I was like, oh, there are probably gonna be a couple other people who aren't okay with this, and I was the only one who wasn't okay with it. So I had to do my own little like project in the corner that they prepared separately, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to go into like all this sciencey stuff. So let's think about shifting gears. And that's when I started seriously considering video game development, which was around the time when I was also finding all this stuff like Game Maker, Unity. So yeah, I eventually changed all my courses, got all the requirements, and went to one program. Didn't enjoy it much because it was very programming intensive, and I liked more of the design and art side of it, even though I'm not an artist either by any means. I love like video game conception, like level design and stuff. So I wanted to study more of that kind of thing, and I was kind of miserable the first year with all the programming stuff we were doing. It was too difficult. I'm Indian, right? But I'm not a smart, computer savvy, number savvy Indian. Like that, I'm making my ancestors not so proud with all that. So,
Damn, bro.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna go do the other stuff now with game design. And I did that 4 years. It was fun. I loved the group projects we did. One of my favorite memories was when we got to watch this movie, and we had like a list of movies to choose from, and we had to do like a video game adaptation of that movie. And we watched The Thing, which is one of my favorite horror films, and we got to make like a video game version of that, and that kind of jump started my love for and because my role was like purely what I wanted to do with game development. I worked on the levels, like the outlines, how you progress through it, where the enemies are, the AI, all of that kind of stuff. So we made that. That was incredibly fun. And I worked on a couple other projects too. And before that, even like after I was in between programs, I was working with a group of people from my first program and the other school I was going to make stuff with them, and that was really fun as well. So I really enjoyed that side of game development, working on levels and the level design stuff. The thing is though, and why so I kind of stopped being interested in video game design shortly after I graduated, like within the next 1 to 2 years. I was really passionate about it. The thing I was kind of like not seriously considering was the changing landscape of the industry. A lot of y'all have probably heard about all the issues right now with game design and how the creatives just don't have as much freedom as they used to, and all that kind of stuff, right? You know, this. So I did a couple of interviews after I graduated, and I did like 5 to 6 of them, and the thing I saw in common between all these interviews was that my responsibilities did not include any of the stuff that I was aspiring towards. Like they didn't really include any of the things I really wanted to do, what I was passionate about. The kind of nail in the coffin for me, and I've like talked about this before on my streams as well. It was kind of sad. Like I felt kind of depressed. The one position I was looking forward to the most, that actually would have had me working on making game levels and stuff like that, was for a mobile game company. The lady interviewing me was like, "Are you okay picking up your boss's laundry on these days?" And I was like, literally, this is what she asked me, and that just rubbed me so incredibly wrong. And I was kind of like, okay, I guess. Like I didn't really know how to even answer that question. So I kind of left it at that, and I was very jaded with the whole thing. And around this time, I was still streaming. I actually started streaming in 2019, halfway through the program, thanks to a very close friend of mine who I met through this game design program, who some of you guys may know in the community, Tuesday Point, also a great streamer, content creator. He got me to start streaming in 2019. I didn't even consider it before. I was just excited for the new game Death Stranding to come out then. And I was like, you know what? I can't wait to play this. He's like, why don't you stream it? Because he had worked with streamers before. This is before he started streaming as well. He's like, you might really enjoy it. And then the rest is history. I did that one stream of it, and I was like, I kind of really love this. And having a platform to not just play the game, but share my thoughts, talk about why I appreciate this stuff, maybe try and get more people into this thing that I'm really enjoying. Because my goal with streaming is to just create a positive atmosphere where, you know, that can rub off on others and we can all just have a good time around something. So yeah, I was still streaming around the time I graduated, and did all these interviews, and decided that, you know, I'm not really super into this game design stuff anymore. And I decided, you know, at this point, like, I wasn't seriously streaming, but now I'm going to put all my eggs in this basket and see what happens, right? And I had some things here and there off and on outside of streaming that had to do with helping my mom with some stuff and all of that, some family matters with when it comes to work related things. But for the most part, I wanted to just really go full send into streaming, and I'm still kind of in that zone right now. Over time, I've kind of like scaled back how much I put into streaming and that kind of thing, because as you get older, you have to start considering a lot of other things. Life kind of does life things, and you start to look at, okay, well, what if this doesn't work out? What are some other options? But this is what I've kind of like, as a whole, decided is what I want to spend most of my time doing, because I'm someone who, the thing I enjoy most in the world, it may not be making games anymore and working on those, but it has to do with just being able to share my love for games and talk about games. Like I used to review games for a long time on my YouTube channel, and that kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of the whole thing with game design.
Damn,
That's wild to me.
That's
Mhm.
crazy.
It's eerie for me because I was also game design. I graduated just a year after you, and your story sounds very
Okay.
similar to mine.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, like the whole industry shifting right when I'm about to graduate. I'm like, oh, what
Yeah,
do I do? And like
absolutely, man.
trying to shift your brain because you have a game design mindset, but how do you apply it to a different part of the world?
Yeah,
It's like that's the
it's
question we're still figuring out.
it's tough for sure. Like you want to do something with games, but the way you kind of wanted to do it before, it's not as, I don't want to say as easy, but it's not as viable anymore, right? Um, because of things that are changing that are kind of beyond your control.
Did you ever think about like doing your own thing, like creating like your own little like group of people?
That's a
or
great
anything
question.
Like that?
So I did, and I kind of did briefly. Like I had a little group that we got together, like I said, after the first program I was in, and we continued working on some stuff. We had a cool name for it too. We did like a little intro animation. It was nothing serious. Like we called it Enkindle Studios, and we would just make games for ourselves. I think somebody in our group put one of the games up on like an Ishthio, whatever. I kind of forget what it's called. And then Steam he tried to get it up on Steam. And then I kind of like considered continuing that a little bit after I graduated the second program as well, with some people I knew in that. But I kind of like came to this realization that indie development, like indie is king, absolutely. Like that's the best way to kind of get into game development now. If you want to retain all your passion and love for making games and make a go for it and be able to have full creative reign and control over what you're doing, indie is the best way to get into that stuff. But I kind of like, having done streaming, I kind of came to this realization that your odds of, and this isn't to like discourage anybody, right? But it's something I realized. Your odds of actually making it through indie development are about the same as something like streaming, right? They're two completely different beasts at the end of the day. But if you do any kind of creative pursuit, endeavor, you're kind of working on your own in the dark. Absolutely, you're gonna like meet other people, work with others, to make a go of this thing, but you don't have this like big backing, right? And you don't have this level of guarantee that you would otherwise have with stuff like that. So I kind of decided, you know what, since I kind of have already established so much around the streaming thing, let me focus on that more as opposed to the indie thing, which also a big part of it had to do with the fact that I was just enjoying streaming that much at that point. So yeah, that's kind of like where I was with the whole indie mindset.
Right.
That competition point you made is valid, not just for other indie games, but we're at a point where we're competing for people's attention.
Yeah.
We're competing with YouTube, we're competing with Netflix, TikTok, movies, we're competing with everything from the present and the past. Like there's some people that will still play the same old games.
For sure.
And
I feel like that number's growing.
Oh yeah, people are getting jaded with this whole game industry stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, the thing is, the other thing is, if you're trying to get into indie now and you've never made games, or maybe you've worked on some of your own games before, but now you want to like, you know, make a serious go for it. It now feels like the other indie games you're competing with are AAA games. You know what I mean? Like from your perspective, like if you look at stuff like you know, like Stardew Valley, for example, the biggest household title indie game, arguably.
Right.
That from your perspective looks like some kind of AAA behemoth. Like the competition, like Lima said, is just getting more and more fierce. And again, you know, like this is not to say whatsoever at all that you shouldn't make a go of it. If your heart is in it, do it. Do your best. You know. Like go break some eggs. Absolutely. Keep, as Malik says, keep the creative juices flowing, right? But like for me and where I was at in my life, I came to that, I gave myself a reality check for sure. Because if your heart's not in something, I think that's kind of important to do. Whereas if your heart is in absolutely behind something and you really deeply care about it, then there should be like the ratio of your head being in the clouds to you giving yourself a reality check should be like, you know, 70-30, you know what I mean? You should still be real about it, but you should still keep like keep the dream alive, keep dreaming, keep being Dululu or whatever they say. But that's just kind of my where I'm at with it.
Yeah, being in the creative field in general is just it's a sacrifice, because any creative field is like kind of like a needle in a haystack chance for you to like make it extremely big, because it's all about timing, you know, the niche, the audience, and then how much work you're putting out, because you have to always constantly be in the face of people marketing and letting people know who you are, because people's attention spans are so short that even if you make some fire, it could go under the radar and not get the proper praise that it needs. So you just have to continue keep making it, and hopefully that one person that will change the trajectory, that has a big influence enough to get people to see it, that'll put you in that spot. But yeah, it's a rough choice, man. It's just, I wouldn't trade it for the world, because I love to create. So even if I was broke for the rest of my life doing this, I'm gonna do it anyways. Like music, like I may never make
absolutely,
it as a musician, but I'm gonna keep making music because I love making music. I did this because I loved it, not because I wanted to make $1 million from it. That's what it's all about.
Right. No, for sure. Your heart absolutely has to be in it, and when it is, you're never gonna leave it, right? You'll always, like, ideally, right? This is the way I view it. Whatever life throws at you, you will always find a way to make time for it. You will always find a way to keep it in your life, right? And that's when you know you're truly passionate about something, and that's something you want to keep around you forever. Like with you, like I'd wager that's the case with you in music, right? Whatever life may throw your way, you're going to find a way to keep at least surrounding yourself with that, with what you love, and you're going to keep that near and dear. And you know, with me, that's streaming, right? Come what may in life, I'm going to find a way, right? And you know, I've talked about this a little bit with Malik before too, and stuff, in Twitch chat, but you know, stuff like the law of attraction and everything. Like I genuinely believe in it, regardless of like what you think the mechanics are behind it. I think the fundamental truth that can't really be denied is just the concept of like, there are things that you will want in life, and there are things that you will absolutely like just need, right? And the things that you need, which I would describe as these things we're talking about, that we're passionate about, regardless of like how much you need it, you still need it, right? And as a result of that, you're not going to stop until, you know, you have that. And so that's like at a fundamental level how that works. You're just going to attract what you need, because you're not going to stop until you have it. So that's why, like, these things that you love, they're never really going to go away, right? Maybe, you know, even if you have to take a 3-month break from it, 3 years, whatever, right? You'll always find a way to keep that with you, and keep yourself with it for the rest of your life. So that's kind of how I view that, for sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And this is not something that's, I guess, like similar in the video game, but just kind of relating it to, like, dance was a huge part of my life, and I had to have knee surgery, and I had to take like 9 months off of doing anything, like being able to move, having to essentially relearn how to walk.
Oh, absolutely.
And so not having that in my life and then coming back to it, the passion was, so I had so much more fire underneath me, because it was like, okay, I had this thing and I loved it, and this was my life, and then I got it taken away from me, and then coming back to it, it's kind of like coming back home.
Absolutely,
to like a comfy like soup and a fire and all this kind of stuff, and it made me just kind of, it made me rekindle my love and my appreciation for all the time and effort I had put into it prior. So that was something that was super, just like, it's a beautiful feeling. It really is. And you realize that you have to, not starting essential or really from square one again, but having to kind of rebuild the muscle memory, rebuild all that kind of stuff. It makes you appreciate all the time and effort you had to put in prior to anything.
200%. And I love that you share that too, because my brother went through the exact same thing a couple of years ago, because his passion is soccer. He loves soccer more than anything, and he tore his ACL playing, and he was just out of it for a long time as a result, recovering, and he had to go through all the physiotherapy and all of that to like be able to like walk normally again, basically. And when he was and his knee has never really been the same. He'll still have days, this is like years ago at this point, but he still has off days where it's extra strenuous, right, on him. So regardless though, for like there was this phase during which he was feeling, you know, on top of the world again, and the first thing he did was, I'm just going back to play soccer. You know, I know it may not be a good idea, this, that, and the other, but you know, world isn't going to keep this from me. And he went back and he loved it, and for a little bit of for a while, right? And now he's kind of out of it again, because, you know, life does life stuff. But I'm sure that, you know, there's going to come a time again where he just goes full send back into it in whatever way he can, right? And because that's just, again, it's like a necessity, right? It says it's almost as important as breathing, is what it feels like, right? So, everyone, the beautiful thing is everyone has that one thing for themselves, right? And we've all been talking about that today, which I absolutely love, right? For some, it could be dancing, wrestling, music, right? Streaming, whatever it is, like just, keep that close. And hey, if you can't keep it close, well, guess what? You're going to keep it close anyway. That's just how it works. You're not, that's because that's not going to keep itself from you. So.
Exactly, man. Yeah, you said some real stuff, man. I want to go ahead and dive into your second question
for sure.
you, which is, as a veteran streamer, because for guys, if you guys didn't know, Addy's been streaming for 7 years, still in his 20s, 7 years doing this. How has it been for your evolution?
It's been lovely. There have been ups and downs, but largely ups. The downs are more so things that just happen up here in my head, right? You're at the end of the day, in a lot of ways, you could be your own worst enemy. With stuff like confidence, self-doubt, wondering, is this really going to work out? Like, is this worth, continuing to pursue? But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, the ups are regardless of what I may be going through, I'm always going to be looking forward to the next stream. I'm always going to be looking forward to the next opportunity to connect, to develop these positive relationships with everybody, and not knowing what may happen. But initially, that feeling of not knowing what may happen, that was something that would worry me, right? Because I've always been someone with a lot of social anxiety, and streaming is a purely social hobby. And funnily, streaming, even though it's something purely social and you're putting yourself out there and everything, it's been the only place where I've been able to actually be me and have an outlet where I feel confident and comfortable, which I don't know how that works, but it just life works in mysterious ways. I think everyone has some kind of outlet where they can be comfortable being themselves and being social, because humans are social animals at the end of the day. So everyone has that, no matter how shy, introverted, socially anxious you may be. We all, at the end of the day, will need to surround ourselves with others. So for me, streaming has been that. But initially, I've always known that, right? But initially it was harder than it is now because of my social anxiety getting in the way. So before I would hit the go live button, I'll be really nervous, like, oh, what if something goes wrong and there are people watching? Like, what if somebody's just going to tune in who's a troll or say something mean, this, that, and the other? But over time, it gets easier, just like with anything. And I still have days where I worry about that stuff. But now when I think about what could happen, I instead think about stuff like, oh, what if this stream is a big opportunity to meet somebody new who's just gonna, we're gonna go on amazing adventures together. And I'll have this thought in the future of, because this has happened to me so many times throughout the years that I've been streaming. And it's the most powerful thought and feeling in the world, it feels like, of, man, that one time I had this small interaction with that person that never would have happened if I wasn't there at that place and that time. And this is one of the most important people I've had the pleasure of meeting in my life, and I wouldn't have met them were it not for that small moment, were it not for me hitting that go live button to run into that opportunity. So this is kind of like the perspective I have now towards it, and kind of the trajectory I've gone on over the years. And I love that, man. I love where I am. I love the people I've met. Love you guys. This is just awesome to me. And like a great example of what I'm talking about, Malik here himself, right? For those of you who don't know, the way I met Malik, I used to do YouTube a lot more than I do now. And I used to make guides and stuff like that on games. And this guide I uploaded 3 years ago for Final Fantasy, the first one, Malik came across it recently because he was streaming through that game, and he found it helpful, and he left me a kind comment, and that really made my day. And so, I wanted to get back, see if he also does content and stuff like that. And sure enough, he does. And I loved what I was seeing. So, I connected with him over that. And so it's those little things that you do. Maybe it could be a raid to somebody you've never met before at the end of a stream, which that's also happened to me. One of my closest friends I met through streaming, who stopped streaming a while ago, but we had so many amazing memories together in the early 2020s. Ian, I met him through just this random raid I decided to do one day at the end of one of my streams. And that's one of those people, another great example of someone who I think to myself from time to time, man, if I didn't do that small thing at that small window of time, I never would have gone on all these incredible adventures and made all these amazing memories. So that's my favorite part of streaming. Like at the end of the day, I want to do this to be able to make those memories, and one day in the future look back on all this, you know, for posterity when I'm like 80 years old, and you know, I'll have this archive of these moments physically in front of me, like that I've been able to experience, and I just want to keep that going. So yeah, what was the question again? I forgot what the question even was.
Well, like your evolution. So you've been doing this for like 7 years? Yeah, no, you totally did.
Okay, great.
Like that's wild to think 7, because I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary or affiliate anniversary next month. It's like July 7th or something.
Yeah, congrats in advance.
That's like a crazy concept to me that I've stuck with something for this long and like have actually enjoyed it, because I'm very much, I'll claim it, I'm a hobby hopper. I've played video games my entire life, but something like this is kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'll actually like streaming. And then started it and realized that, okay, yeah, I like to talk, and I like to talk a lot. And sometimes, like, I don't claim to be the best person at playing video games, but I love the connections that I've been able to make with people, because it's like, okay, you guys aren't coming to watch me play games. If you are, you're watching me to get my ass kicked at Elden Ring or something like that. But it's more just the, hey, you guys are here because I like to talk, and I'm open and honest, and I'm gonna say things like it is. And if you're down with that, then we're gonna mesh really well. If not, enjoy the shitty gameplay and quality.
Yeah, of course.
Like that's kind of what it is.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about. And no, I completely get that. Like, I'm admittedly the opposite. So I know a lot of people though who are like that, and that's great. Like you want to just try as many different things as possible, right? And that's also so important, because you never really know what you're truly in love with and what you need, right? And what your passion is until you try whatever there is available. That life is always going to be full of opportunities. I'm someone who's admittedly like, I am so averse to change, sometimes to my own detriment. Like, if I could in an ideal world, man, I don't like traveling. I'm a hermit. I love staying in one place, one house, one neighborhood.
Dude, I'm the same.
Yeah, my perfect life is literally doing what I do now, just for like the next 60 years, just walking my dog around the park.
Who needs
like
change,
coming home,
dude?
you know, like
same couch.
Yeah,
same
exactly,
fridge.
dog.
Don't change
it.
anything. Don't need it.
Yep. And yeah, and again, like I said, sometimes to my own detriment, because you'll never really know more about yourself until you try more things. But where I'm at right now, I feel like I've kind of hit the jackpot. So I'm cool with it. But for sure, it's also so important to just explore so much. And as you say, like hobby hopping. So I totally get where you're coming from and what you're describing. My brother's, again, like the exact same way. Like, he wants to keep trying as many different things and exploring as many different ideas. He doesn't execute on a lot of them, which, you know, I think
I wanted to be a like, crocheter and be all these cute little pottery girls and make bread and all that kind of stuff. And then I realized that I am like a rough and tumble, just it doesn't work for me. I am way too much. I'm a bull in a china closet. Like, there ain't nothing. I'm destroying anything and everything in sight. And video games was like the one thing that I just kind of like, I mean, I remember my dad sitting me in front of the Nintendo 64 playing Super Mario and Pokemon Stadium when
absolutely.
I was
That's amazing.
a child. And then from there, he kind of put his passion of video games into like my life, and it's stuck with me ever since. And now it's just I've gotten to the point where the games that I play, I normally or mostly play like FromSoft, any of those kind of games.
Let's go.
I just like getting my shit rocked in games.
Those are my favorite. They're my favorite developers, by the way. I love FromSoft. Soulsborne, like Bloodborne's my second favorite game of all time. So I love that. Let's freaking go.
I was just playing Night Rain, and now my PlayStation has decided to do a 5-hour update now. So
hell no.
We're just chilling. But that's kind of like the only hobby I would say that I was like, okay, I stuck with. I've been consistent with playing games my entire life, and this is something that I don't ever get tired of. Like I'm never. There's days where you're like, oh, I really don't want to play a game. Like I'm not really in the mood to sit in front of a computer, set everything up. Like
for sure,
there are days, but a lot of the time it's like, okay, if I'm in a bad mood, good mood, anything like that, I'm just gonna sit down and I'm gonna play games, and it's gonna be fun as shit.
Heck
and I know I'm gonna have a good time regardless of what I'm playing.
Yeah, that's the way to go about it.
Can I piggyback off this real quick? Woody, I have a question for you because I actually kind of am the same way as you are. Do you ever feel like, because I know I feel this a lot, like where you're like, damn, maybe if I just like focused on this one thing, I'd be like really fucking good at it. Or like, I have a problem where like I feel like I'm really decent at a lot of stuff, but I'm not like super good at anything. It's like, oh, maybe if I just focused on content, I could be like super successful on content. Or like maybe if I just danced and cut out everything else, I'd be like the best dancer ever. Or like just
100%.
Jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing, but you want to check it out because you're like, what if I am good at that? But then I like this thing, so I don't want to stop doing this thing. But also, if I focused on like, and then your brain's everywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, there's like I got like 700 pieces of me spread throughout all different things, and it's like I want to be good at like claim to be the best at one thing, and it's the jack of all trades kind of thing where it's like I can kind of be decent at a little bit of everything, but I am never claiming that I'm gonna be good at something.
Yeah, I completely relate to that. Like I've kind of had that same feeling almost my entire life. Like, and I've struggled with it too growing up. Like I would see folks who were insanely good at one thing, and I look at that as like a superpower. And for me, when I look from the outside in, that was always art. Like I was obsessed with art when I was in school. I was never any good at it, and I was like, but how come they get to be so amazing? And like it seems like they barely put any effort in. They just have that power from birth. They have a superpower. So how do I get that? But it's okay to like, you know, also just absolutely just be okay at everything and not incredible at just one thing. As long as you're having fun, as long as you enjoy the process, going through the motions, and also feeling like you're improving in your own way, because everyone's at their own pace in life. Everyone is, you know, it's not a race. It's never a race. You're racing yourself from yesterday, right? You're trying to just outpace yourself from who you were yesterday and be better than who you were yesterday. So that's what matters, and that's what I realized eventually. But it took me a long time to realize it, because I had so many insecurities about like, oh man, I wish I was good at that. How come this dude's good at this? He's really good at that video game. Again, video games are my lifeblood, so I would feel it a lot with video games as well. I'd be like, how come you're just so good at doing these 360 no scopes and climbing the ranks to like top 500 Overwatch? Like you've never even touched a mouse before. Like that did take me like years. How do I do that? But no, everyone has their own treats. Everyone, you know, has their own magic, and everyone has their own gifts, and it's about you recognizing what those are and recognizing that at the end of the day, no matter what you may feel about yourself in relation to somebody else, you are unique and you have something that nobody else has, right? And that's what your gift is. At the end of the day, if nothing else, just recognize that you making it through the day is like, that's more than enough. That's what everyone's trying to do at the end of the day.
Yes.
You're good at that. You're good at doing that. Just keep doing that, you know? Like that's what it's all about.
I've made it 32 years and I'm still alive. So
keep breathing, or you know, as Malik says, be the realest man breathing. Actually, no, don't, because that's only Malik's allowed to be the realest man breathing. Don't steal it.
I'm suing everybody.